We're holding on page Yud Zayin of the Akdama, the paragraph the Anu Royim, the Ferish. So this is about a different subject that we didn't discuss until now, and this is about that here the Rebbe is going to write a sefer. He's going to try to slug up the Zionist arguments, but he knows he's not going to be able to cover them all because there's so many arguments that they make, and after his sefer comes out, there are going to be more. But even before that, there's just so many different tanyas that they have that you can't possibly cover all their fabrications. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's not worth it, because if you write a sefer on some of them, they'll say, okay, we still have these other arguments. So he says like this. No, I'll show you that once you teach people a little bit, they'll understand the rest. Take a look. The Anu Royim Beferish HaRadak. We see this commentary by the Radak. Ha'aruch, the long commentary, Al Tehillim. Now the Radak has a Pirush on Tehillim. It's printed in regular Tanachs, but it's not the long one. It's a short one because it's censored. Because look what he says here. Shebekama mizmorim herich listor das hanoitzrim. The Radak speaks at length to slug up the Christians.
Wait, where did the Radak live? Where did the Radak live?
In Spain, in I think the 1200s.
Oh, he was early
1312. Yeah. So
what does Radak stand for?
Reb David Kimchi. So he brings proofs against the Christians. Shemaviyim misham ra'ala noitzri rachman litzlan. That they bring proofs from the Pesukim and Tehillim to Yashke. And the Radak
that's interesting.
Knew all these proofs, and he came to prove them wrong.
But they prove about Yashke the Hill. That's interesting.
Nashku Bar and the base, that kind of stuff. Right. So he says like this: the Pirush HaArk. Why the Pirush HaArk? Because the Pirush HaKotzer, the Radak that's abridged, that's printed in the regular Tanachs, they took this stuff out because of the censors. They didn't want to print stuff against Christians. But in some editions, the Radak, or maybe in Ksav Yad, there was preserved that the Radak had all these proofs against the Christians. And this was printed many times, and one of them was in 1946, and that's probably the one the Rebbe had in front of him. And it says Sefer Tehillim on the title page. It says Sefer Tehillim with the Pirush HaAruch Shel Rabbeinu David Kimchi. Kitzer. Okay, so what does this show us? He says V'chein HaRambam B'igeres Teiman. Another proof is from the Rambam in the letter to Yemen. Cost of Listor Mashahevi Echad Raya Mehatorah Akdoisha Al Hamakmad on Muhammad. There's a raya from the Torah to Muhammad, and the Rambam came to prove it wrong. Okay. Now, of course, the Christians didn't just have these few proofs that the Radak mentions. They have tons of books full of proofs from the Bible, because that's their whole point. Their whole point is that that our Bible is a raya to their New Testament. So they have proofs much more than the Radak had time to deal with. The Radak doesn't bring them all down. He doesn't have time to go on and bring every single sheker that they've ever said. But still, he found that it was worth his time to spend some time speaking about a few mizmorim. That people shouldn't think that the Christians are right. And once he writes this, those who seek the truth, they'll come to understand the truth. They'll come to understand the answer to all the other things that the Radak doesn't say. Once they get the idea, right? So the same thing here. And the truth is a witness to itself. So the same thing is by that Rambam. He said also the Muslims probably have a bunch of proofs to Muhammad, but once he slugged up one of them, basically he made his point. Now, in our generations, these religious Zionists do the same thing. They join the Zionists. They go and they bring proofs from the Torah, to proofs to Zionism, with different disguises, and they sometimes convince even some unsuspecting Jews. Like the Tzedukim did, and the Christians did, V'kas HaShatz and Shabbos Phoenix did, and all the different heretical groups throughout history have always done this. And the Zionim do it even more now, because he's labshu be'itztala Yerushalmis. It's even more powerful because they have dressed themselves up in a Yerushalmi garb. meaning that they made themselves look like Peshem Chibas Ha'aretz, that they're doing it for the sake of love of Eretz Yisrael, for Hatzalas Yisrael, and also for the saving of the Jewish people. You know that the zionist say, the Ramban in the beginning of in the Sefer Mitzvahs, the Ramban says it's a mitzvah of Yishuv Eretz Yisrael, and it must be the Ramban held that there was no Shalosh Shavuos, because the Ramban brings down the mitzvah of Yishuv Eretz Yisrael. These kind of things. Obviously, the Ramban is saying that it's a mitzvah. If any single person lives in Eretz Yisrael, it's a mitzvah. It doesn't mean that there's a mitzvah to go and conquer it, but this is what they do. And then the same thing also, Hatzalas Yisrael. They say we're saving Jewish lives. If not for the Medina, look at the 6 million Jews living there, they'd all be killed, and these kind of things. And obviously, those people who say this argument don't really believe it themselves, because they're always going to Eretz Yisrael, and they're always sending their kids to Eretz Yisrael, so obviously they don't believe that it's so dangerous over there. And they don't believe that it's a Aveira to save lives, because you don't just take advantage of an Aveira that's done to save lives. So, whatever. But the point is that this is one of the things that they bring today. They're mislabish. They dress themselves up with a levush of Hatzalas Yisrael. V'ashkarim v'aziyufim. And these lies and these fabrications, these forgeries, merubim heim ad ein shir. They're just without number. Lahatois ein abrius. They convince the eyes of people, and they lead people astray. So therefore, I'm not going to deal with everything. That's what he says. I'm not going to be able to answer up every raya. But once you learn a little bit, you'll understand everything. That's not the main point of Vayel Moshe, but in the midst of Vayel Moshe, he's going to bring up some of the proofs of the Zionists that were spread in the world to confuse people. Anyone with a brain could see the truth. But I can't go and deal with every single vanity that they said, and their lies, the dimyonis shav, the divrei ziyufim, their imaginations and their forgeries. Shalahem lahavi hakoil ala gilyon. I can't bring every single thing in the sefer. Ki ein kate for divrei ruach. There's no end to it. Ulevushi hasheker v'dimyonis koizvim. There's no end to all these imaginary proofs. Ein lahem gvul. Aval asam liboy l'dvar Hashem. But someone who pays attention to the word of Hashem, Raya could see ki kol divreim hevel havolim. All their words are just emptiness. Ein bohem mamish. There's nothing to them. V'kulam yisayim haruach. They can all be blown away by the wind.